Good morning, sir. I hope we didn't waste a time.
Thank you very much for inviting me. Good morning.
So I'll officially begin. So, good morning, everyone. So, Bill Gates once said that a breakthrough in a machine learning is equal to 10 Microsoft. So, coupled along the similar tangent, reinforcement learning is a bracket of machine learning which is able to interpret the environment and actions and take suitable measures accordingly. It sounds fun, right? But just how captivated we are in our lives, hustling and bustling to make it better, we do not find ourselves time for ourselves. So today we have with us an exceptional and impeccable speaker, professor, and also a former data scientist with an enriching experience in this field, Mr. Sabyasachi Mukhopadhyay. On behalf of Innovators Quest, I would like to extend the token of welcome to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the warm welcome. And today we are going to talk about the reinforcement learning. And like our introducer already mentioned, that it's all about interacting with the environment and gain your experiences. So basically, in reinforcement learning, it's an emerging field in the domain of AI or artificial intelligence. So today we will have some overview that how to build your career in reinforcement learning, what are the career prospects are arising in front of you in upcoming years. So basically, what I am doing, I am just sharing my screen. There are few resources which I will share with all of you, because when earlier I was in industry, we used to work in stealthy mode. So most of the cases we have to share the projects in private mode. But now, after coming into the academics, it's an open source era. So it's all about peer-to-peer learning and sharing the projects with all of you, such that all of you can learn and gain your experiences. You can reproduce the results. So what I am doing, as per the request from the several students during my several talks, I am gradually updating my hands-on sessions and talks in my own YouTube channel. So I will share those links with all of you, such that you can remain benefited with my other talks in the domain of deep learning, quantum machine learning. And as well as I will definitely share, I am recently started to write articles to guide the students in their career direction. So I will definitely share the link of the medium, my medium profile, so such that all of you can remain updated about the domains which we are discussing nowadays. So today we will start with the reinforcement learning. So what I will do, I will share the screen with one of my medium articles, and definitely we will gradually see that how you can share your journey with the reinforcement learning. So I believe that the screen is visible to all of you. So you can see that the particular name has been given. I will share definitely the link of my medium profile, that how you can start your career with reinforcement learning, how you can gain the expertizations. So as I was mentioning, that reinforcement learning is all about interacting with the environments and choose the possible paths to utilize the certain actions to maximize your reward. Okay, if the agent is capable of achieving the goal correctly, it will be rewarded, otherwise it will be penalized. So it's all about to choose the best possible path where you can gain the maximum reward. Okay, so if we see, for example, then one particular term you may hear about, that what is the deep reinforcement learning. So in case of the deep reinforcement learning, by the term you can easily understand that there will be multiple layer of the artificial neural network. The system will be much more complicated, and which will basically replicate the structure of the human brain. Okay, in case of the reinforcement learning, it's quite a simpler model than the deep reinforcement learning. But in case of the deep reinforcement learning, there will be multiple layers. Okay, now there is a one common question which comes up in our mind, that what is the difference between the reinforcement learning and supervised learning. So basically, in case of the supervised learning, we all know that in generally, because always remember that reinforcement learning is also a subdomain of machine learning. But in case of supervised learning, what we do, we generally take the input data set with labeling was there. But in case of the, for example, we have seen those applications like object detection purpose, or the supervised learning can be applicable for the early diagnosis of cancer or other diseases like diabetic retinopathy, crop prediction in agricultural domain, and many applications are there. In case of the reinforcement learning, what it do, you do not require any kind of the training data sets. Rather, like I mentioned earlier, that it is interacting with the environment and learning continuously. So it's basically a feedback based system. Okay, so what will happen, that it will make the decision sequentially. So the output will depend upon the state of the current input. Okay, the current input depends upon the output of the previous input. So in this way, sequentially it works. So for example, we can talk about the game of chess. Okay, now if we see the applications of the reinforcement learning, actually, especially the reinforcement learning is existing since late 1980s, but deep reinforcement learning actually came up with the evolution of the deep learning when you are combining the deep learning concept of the reinforcement learning. So when we have heard about a lot of successful startups in that particular domain, and better to mention them as companies because they have got so much success in that domain very, very early stage period. One of the companies is DeepMind. So they basically developed AlphaGo, and it first came up in our mind that when the Go Grandmaster was defeated by the DeepMind's AlphaGo. Okay, and we have also seen the other companies which are basically doing the product. For example, OpenAI's Gym project, and DeepMind is always there. So it's all about that in the game of chess we have seen. In case of the AlphaGo applications, we have seen there are ample applications. So if we talk about the overall deployment of the deep learning, it's where you can apply it. So it can be deployable in case of the large environment, like the environmental, when your environmental model is known to you, but you do not know the analytical model. So one case is that whenever you know the environmental model, but you don't have the analytical solution, so you can apply it there. Or for example, you can do the simulation-based optimization. Or what you can do, you can collect the information from the environment by interacting with it. So these are the possible areas. Now in industry, it has a vast amount of the applications. Now, for example, I want to share a small story with you, because you see that those who will step forward to the industry, and if you see that if you ask your seniors in 2014-15, it was all about the business process automation or business process management. BPM was there, but in 2018 it was robotic process automation. So for example, you want to send 20,000 email a day per day, or doing the rigorous Excel sheet works become quite easier. Okay, and when one of the leading Indian IT company, TCS, was looking for the projects, and they got the project from Japan. So what happened, that they were looking for the robotic process automation expertise in India, and they required 2 lakh expertise in India. Unfortunately, they found that only 250 to 300 people know robotic process automation. So it was a template driven approach, very, very sophisticated automated approach, where you don't have to do coding. In industry, either you have to do coding, or you may deal with the template driven approach. So it was a template driven approach. Still, only 250 to 300 people in India were aware about the robotic process automation in 2018, where the job requirement was 2 lakh. So you can see the difference, the gap between academic and industry, that people are not aware of the robotic process automation. But that was already in the market, and in meanwhile, people are interacting for the IP, intelligence process automation. Institute for Robotic Process Automation, they were doing the research for the intelligence process automation, which was about to launch, which will be launched in 2024 or 25. And gradually, you can see Automation Anywhere or other things who are gradually giving the training. Blue Prisms, they're giving the training on robotic process automation. So people came to know about the importance of the robotic process automation. So whenever you are jumping into the industry, you have to keep it in mind that you have to update yourself. Upskilling is very, very important. On an average, every 5 years, new skill setups are coming up. So in 2014, it was business process management. It was in 2018-19, it was robotic process automation, it is the era of RPA. And IP, intelligence process automation, will be in 2024-5 era. And it is completely based on the reinforcement learning, where the intelligent machine or intelligent agent, what it is doing, it is interacting with the environment and completely rectifying itself, because you do not require to deploy the cost for the training of data set, cleaning of data. Nothing is required. That's the reason reinforcement learning is called the future of the machine learning. You do not require any data set. Rather, what it will do, it will interact with the environment continuously, and it will rectify its action. Okay, if it is doing correctly, it will be rewarded. If it is doing wrongly, it will be penalized. So in this way, the reinforcement is happening. Okay, and the machines and robots, whether it is a physical robot or software robot, like in case of the RPA, it is software robot. Okay, and why the term is robotic? Because it is doing the superhuman task. Whenever we are doing certain superhuman task or job, we call it as the robotic actions. Okay, so it is doing that type of the robotic stuffs. Okay, so that's the reason it is being called as intelligence process automation, IP, in upcoming future, where the reinforcement learning is going to play a very, very strong role. So if we see the applications, it is applicable in robotics for automating the task in the industry, applicable in data processing tasks and other machine learning related applications, applicable for controlling aircraft and robotic motion, applicable for business strategy planning. Okay, those people who are in the operations section and supply chain section, I mean, this particular reinforcement learning is doing a miracle there. Okay, applicable for creating training system which can customize the instruction and material for serving the purpose of the students. So these are the very, very vast amount of the application if you see. And if now the students will be quite curious to know that, okay, we have known what is robotic process automation, what are the possible application areas, and how it is different from the supervised learning. Now, one thing which comes in our mind very often, that what are the leading companies in the domain. If we see that across the globe, if we see the global scenario, it is obviously the in silico medicine in the healthcare domain where the reinforcement learning can be applied. And most of the companies, if you see, either those who were a few years back, those were the startups, now they are the quite established companies. And these are very new companies, which you can see in the list, whether it is the Protein Cure or Perimeter X or Covariant InstaDeep. These all are doing great in the domain of the reinforcement learning. And most of the companies you can see from the United States, there are a couple of companies from UK and Canada as well in the list. And India, there are obviously some recruiting opportunities are there. For example, Adobe India or Amazon India, Siemens Technology India, or for example, Deloitte, they are hiring, they are putting the emphasizing on RL skills. And in their lab, AI lab, they are putting all the facilities to deploy reinforcement learning, and they are hiring the people in a large scale. So there are ample opportunities if you are looking for the job roles related to reinforcement learning in India as well. Okay, apart from the abroad. And in the most of the cases we have seen recently the RL based skill setups, students with RL based skill setups are being placed in the Bangalore based hubs of all those companies. And what can be the possible job roles and salaries? If you see that in generally the job roles, for example, the research scientist in the reinforcement learning domain, or for example, reinforcement learning engineer, reinforcement learning experts, and these are the similar types of the job roles. The companies which I have mentioned earlier in the earlier section, all those companies are providing this type of the job roles. Okay, and remember that in some cases that it explicitly it may not mention the name machine learning, reinforcement learning, but it may happen that the job role name machine learning engineers, or sometimes it can be the job roles like data scientists, but they are looking for the skill setups with reinforcement learning. Okay, reinforcement learning name may not be always in the job description tag, but it may happen that there are the similar type of job roles like machine learning engineers where they are looking for the skill setups with reinforcement learning, or for example, data scientist position is a data scientist, but they are looking the skill setups in the reinforcement learning domain. Okay, so that type of the job roles are very, very important, and you require to know that what type of the skill setups a company looking from for the applicants. So you may be freshers, you may have some couple of years of experience in the industry, and you want to join where you can explore your skills on reinforcement learning. So what are the companies are looking for in generally from my personal experiences and what I have seen in the industry, I can see that they basically look for, definitely they will go after your educational background. So most of the cases we have seen the students from the B.Tech, M.Tech background, they apply. Their department can be electronics communication engineering. They can be from CSIT. Okay, computer science and information. Nowadays, we can see a lot of specialized programs. For example, B.Tech program on data science and data analytics, or M.Tech program on data science and data. That type of specialized programs are there. And if we see the earlier cases, people are also got this domain job from those who have done master degree in mathematics or statistics, or from the physics background. Those people are also being hired if they have the adequate skill setups. So educational background matters. And sometimes nowadays, a lot of doing the certification courses are also helping the people. Hands-on experience on the relevant project, that is a very, very important thing, because people will often go through your GitHub profile. They want to check your GitHub profile, make sure that you are updating your GitHub profile. Okay, so what I will do, I will share some of the project link with all of you. One of the GitHub profile I have created for the students purpose only. as per the request of the students, such that they can see that what type of the project they can do. Okay, I am gradually updating it, so I will definitely share the link. You will see that there is one repository in the name of reinforcement learning. I'm gradually updating the codes there. You can put a pull request there, or you can download those codes. You can practice at your home. So, and then you can build a similar repository for your GitHub also. So preparing GitHub is very, very important, because what type of the projects you are doing, and how you are contributing in case of the some R&D activities, it is also important. Excuse me. So those type of things you can do. And obviously that how you are whenever a fresh challenge is given to you, how you are capable of handling those problems, abilities of learning and working in a team decides your salary package. So you have to be very, very careful that whenever you are jumping into the stepping into the industry, you have to be very, very careful that you should be able to work with your team members. Okay, so in industry, one particular terminology is very, very important, which I will share in the comment box section after this particular discussion. The terminology is skills matrix matching. Okay, that is very, very important, because you see, you may be very much expert in reinforcement learning, but somebody, maybe your team may be very, very much expertization in marketing. Somebody will be there who has the expertization in Android app development or something like that. So whenever a project is being built, what happens that people from the diversified skill setup, they come together and they contribute. So the job task is distributed as per their skills. Okay, so whenever new fresh challenges are coming up, if you have the diversified skill setup in your team, the amount of the progress you will make, it will not be the same with the skill setups of the within your team with the homogeneity. For example, in the 4 members of you know RL or reinforcement learning, but you don't have the other skills. But it may happen that if you have the team, one person is expertise on RL or reinforcement learning. So there are some other people who is expertise on the marketing. Some other people who will be expertise on the Android app development. Some other people may be there who is expertise on the some other skill setups. So it will help you to resolve any challenges or address any challenges than the earlier cases. So that is called skill matrix matching. So that is very, very important. As per the given project, your team leader will decide how to form a team. Okay, they will call certain people, they will onboard certain people, and they will deploy them for the execution of the project. So that is how the things works in the industry, and not only in the industry. It's if you talk about all the top companies in the industry, Google, Walmart, everybody works on that. And in academics also, in some cases of the interesting research projects in top universities, if you see whether it is Harvard or MIT, everybody works like that. So skills matrix matching is very, very important. Now, in general, what happens that if you see the JDs uh, in the LinkedIn or some other places, it is very, very important. I will advise all of you to look at the JDs. What type of skill setups they are looking for in their job description. So what happens that you will be able to see that in most of the cases in the domain of the data science, because this is an emerging field, whether we are talking about reinforcement learning or those skill sets. So people are in general looking for the experiences in general. So whenever they are looking for experiences, if, for example, whatever the salary, I have mentioned here the average salary. Remember that whatever the figures are given there in the article, which I will share with all of you, that it is an average range of salary. For example, those who have the expertise in 1 to 4 year, okay, they in generally paid 7.5 to 16 lakh per annum. It is the average salary. Remember, this is the average salary, because as I told you, that salary will vary for most of the cases as per your expertise. Okay, as per the job location, everything is matters when deciding your salaries. Okay, so per annum I am talking about. And if you are the very entry level, if you are a fresher and somehow you have cracked to manage to grab that type of the job role, because this is an emerging field, so most of the cases we don't see so much opportunities for the freshers, but the opportunities will definitely be much more wider in upcoming years. Okay, so in general, whatever the record we have seen in case of from the Glassdoor or some other media, on an average the salary range for the freshers is 2 to 4 lakhs per annum. And those who have the very expertise, mid-level career, for example, 9 to 10 years experience, so we have seen the average salary for them is more than 1 crore. per annum. Okay, so it depends. Okay, as per your expertizations and obviously the job locations, everything matters while deciding the salary. So this I have talked about from the Indian perspective. Now, for example, if you see the United States, because we have seen a lot of top companies in the emerging field like reinforcement learning. So if you see those areas like United States, so the salary in general for any expertise, it varies to one lakh 75,000 USD to 2 lakh 45,000 USD per year. Okay, so which is 20% higher than the Indian average. So according to the country-wise job location, also the salary will matter. Okay, and in United States also, you will not see the same type of the job salary. For example, highly costly area like Boston, people will be quite a little bit higher paid than the places like New York. Okay, so it will vary as per the job locations in United States also. Definitely the salary range will vary. So now if we see that we have seen the what type of the job roles you may have, what type of the salaries in generally in terms of the average salary, I highlighted, not the median one. I have highlighted the average salary. So you guys will have some idea that what can be the possible salaries for the who are the freshers or who have some sort of the experiences or who are the highly experienced. And now the required skill setup, if we see, so like in case of the in general, in case of the whenever you are exploring in the domain of artificial intelligence, so you often talk about this having skills or the linear algebra. For example, doing the principal component analysis, singular value decomposition, we often talk about the eigenvalue, eigenvectors. So it is desirable that you know the linear algebra pretty much well, along with the statistics probabilities. Good skills on the statistics probability should be there. And definitely, uh, now whenever you are gradually going towards the deep learning and that type of stuffs, so it is better to know image processing in a broader scale. If you know computer vision, it's fine. And whenever you are talking about the reinforcement learning, so it is better to know machine learning, deep learning, both as well, because we know there is a classical reinforcement learning will be there. There will be the deep reinforcement learning as well, where you are merging the concept of the deep learning along with the reinforcement learning. So these type of the knowledges are very important. And now talking about the programming language, if you know R, it is fine because it has a lot of statistical package for the analysis purpose. But those who are planning to build up their career in reinforcement learning or even in other domains of the machine learning as well, better to know Python. It is a mandatory because Python has a versatile application in several domains. But whenever we are concentrating our discussions in AI related applications, so let us concentrate our discussions on the AI related applications. And whenever we are talking about the Pythonic environment, if you see all the frameworks, whether it is Keras, PyTorch, TensorFlow, okay, MXNet, all those frameworks are highly Pythonic. So it is better to go in the Pythonic environment. And there's a reason to explore and explore at a highest level. It is better to know Python. If you know Python, those environments will be quite easier for you. Those frameworks will become those frameworks or those programming environments will be quite easier for you to explore upon. Okay, so these are the required skills. If you know, it will be fine. And the futuristic views with deep learning, if you see, so like I was mentioning that it is gradually, this is the era. For example, RL or DRL. RL stands for the reinforcement learning, or DRL stands for the deep reinforcement learning. So these are the era where you are gradually making the advancements of AI closer to the artificial general intelligence. Artificial intelligence to artificial general intelligence, AI to AGI, where you do not require any data set, where you do not have to put deployment cost or deploy cost. For example, the cleaning of the data or hiring the data, because you collect the data before the reinforcement learning. There were two ways of collecting data, either in a primary collection of the primary data or secondary data. So primary data means you yourself going towards the field, you are collecting data with your own with your own instruments. That means you are directly collecting data. That is the primary mode of data. But the secondary data, what happens that whenever you are downloading it from some sort of the websites, so people used to do projects by downloading dataset from a Kaggle, GitHub. Okay, so they download datasets from there and they used to explore it. So these are the secondary resources of data. So in reinforcement learning, what is happening? You do not require that type of the things. You just the system itself, the agent within presence in the environment itself will interact with the environment, and it will keep on learning. It will keep on revising its performance accuracy. Okay, it will make it much more robust itself. It will always look for the way how to get the maximum reward by avoiding all the hurdles or all the hindrances present in the environment. Okay, if it is doing wrongly, it will be penalized. So gradually we are moving towards the artificial general intelligence, from AI to AGI. Okay, so this is the way. Now you see that we have already discussed during the application section that it has a vast amount of the application, whether we are talking about the healthcare sector or autonomous driving, or for example, the if we are talking about the robotics, inventory management, finance. Okay, so everywhere it has a huge amount of the applications. And now if you see, for example, the what is the cost range, what is the valuation of the current industry. So if we see the top 19 industrial top 9 functions, business functions in 19 top 19 industry, so the reinforcement learning is creating the valuation from the 3.5 trillion USD to 5.8 trillion USD annual. Okay, annual, annual range. If you see this type of the valuations it is generating, so it has a huge market in upcoming years. So it is better to embrace yourself with the reinforcement learning skills. Okay, and from my side, whatever the guidances I can give, definitely I will give. So what I am doing, I am just stopping the screen sharing. I am sharing the article link with all of you in the comment box section, such that you guys can practice it at your home. You can go through it. The GitHub link I will also share separately in a separate way. So this is my Medium article link. Okay, and I am also sharing my YouTube channel link as well. You can subscribe it. A lot of hands-on sessions on several deep learning and quantum machine learning is given there. I have shared my Medium link, article link, also the YouTube channel link, and the GitHub link I am also sharing, where I am gradually uploading. This GitHub account I have made for the student use purpose. So they can go through there and download certain codes and all those things they can practice. So gradually I am updating all the materials there. So you can get the, for example, the link of the reinforcement learning code from there also. I will upload much more codes as per the projects on that particular repository. So nothing to worry about it. Everything will be there very soon. I will make them available very soon. And today, regarding the today's discussion, so these 3 links are given there: Medium article link, YouTube link, and GitHub link. And regarding today's discussion, we have already covered up what are the reinforcement learning, what are the utility of it, and what are the current job opportunities. Now I am requesting all of you to open your GitHub. Now, one thing I want to share, that discussing Q learning is not possible with the given time frame, but we will do some hands-on experiences. Okay, so it may happen that you may not understand many things, because Q learning, mathematics behind the Q learning is also there. So but definitely what I will do in if the possible in upcoming sessions, or you can interact with me later on after this session, where I will share some materials prepared by me on Q learning. Okay, now, or I will definitely upload that thing in GitHub also. Okay, so all of you are requested to open Google Colab. What you do, you just type in Google, write Google Colab. Okay, open it. Let's have some experiences on the coding. Okay, you will get that particular notebook from my Google Colab, from my GitHub. Okay, so session of this Google Colab, whatever the notebook I will discuss, I do not require to mail you separately, because you can download it from my GitHub. GitHub link is given there. So whatever the project I have uploaded there, we will explore that in today's session. Okay, you just copy paste the code in your Google Colab and just try to experience it. So what I am doing, I am sharing my screen, and will give you some demonstration that how to experience reinforcement learning applications in real life. Okay, so in Google, type Google Colab. Whenever you are typing it, what will happen? This type of things will come up. So let us open a, for example, new notebook. Okay, so open the new notebook. Files, click new notebook. So you are opening a new notebook, fresh notebook. So it is opening. So once you open the Google Colab, you will be able to see that there are two types of the option is there. You see plus code plus text. So text, you can add up some text. You will be able to see that in case of, for example, this one, I have added some text. Reinforcement learning tutorial. What is reinforcement learning? And some corresponding tutorial is, some theory portion is added there. Very brief theory portion is added there. So you can do it by clicking on plus text. And by clicking on this type of plus code, you can write your own code. Okay. So what you do, first, you guys are advised to incorporate this portion of the code, that whenever you are incorporating certain things in Colab or in Pythonic platform, you have to import certain modules. Okay. So we are importing NumPy for the all those array type of operations. From NumPy as NP, import PyLab as PL, and NetworkX as NX to support the graphical behaviors. Okay, network architecture. So what I am doing, I am sharing, I am posting this particular code in the comment box section. Okay. So what you can do, you can simply copy paste from here and run it in the Colab. So once you are done with the first portion, step 1, importing the required libraries, let me know. You can drop a comment in the comment box section, sir, we have done it, so I can see it. So first, complete the step 1, importing required libraries. Complete the first step, importing required libraries, and let me know. Please post your comment box section such that I can see it. Check your comment box section that I have already posted the code portion, importing the required libraries. Once you are done, just let me know. Okay, sir, we have done it, or something like that. Then we shall implement the second step, defining and visualizing the graph. Anyone who has completed it? Okay, done, sir. Darsh Gupta has. Thank you, Darsh. Thank you, Atharva. Thank you. Thanks a lot. So we will move to the next portion where we will implement the defining and visualizing the graph. Okay, so first we will define certain edges. Okay, we will set up the goal that through the edges, how we can achieve the goal 10. Okay, so what we will do, we will first initialize the G with the nx dot graph, and then what we will do, we will keep on defining the pause. Okay, and then what we will do, we will just assign the nx dot draw networks x in terms of the nodes, where we will take the functions or the arguments of G and positions. Okay, and then what we will do, we will simply do the implement the execute the nx dot draw networks edges for the G and pause. G for the, you already know that we have defined nx dot graph as G. Okay, and the PO stands for the position. Okay, so what we will do in this way, we will define all those things, nodes, edges, and levels. In a similar fashion, node, edges, and levels. In levels means what? Within the edge, within the node, you will be able to see that this type of leveling is there, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And simply what we will do, then we will click on, we will write pl.show. Okay, and we will be able to see the network architecture. Okay, what is given there. I'm posting the code in the comment box section. You just reproduce it. You will be able to see the following type of the code. I have posted the code in your comment box section. This type of the code plot will be generated, but plot will vary. Okay, because you see the output is randomized, because this is the random graph behavior. So plot will vary, but what you will see, that you will see all the nodes are interconnected as per the given edge definition here. 0 to 1, 1 to 5, okay, or 5 to 6, 5 to 4, 1 to 2, 1 to 3. So all those as per the given the edge, defined the, we have the way we have given the vertex pairs, okay, or the node pairs, they are connected as per the edge definition. Okay, and that type of the graph you will be able to experience once you click on the run cell button. This button is called the run cell button, and you will be able to see that. Okay, and everything, because if you see the nx.draw network x nodes, or nx.draw networks as edges, or nx.draw network as levels, everywhere we have defined how the edges will be drawn, how the vertices will be placed, and how the labeling will be placed. Everything has been defined already. So as for the definition, you will be able to see that how we are proceeding towards the goal 10. So this is all about the step 2, where we have defined and visualized the graph. Okay. Now we will go towards the step 3. Let me know once you are done. Have you been able to complete it? Please post in the comment box section. Can you see this type of graph? Remember that the same type of graph may not be produced because output is randomized. But logic should be there that the way you have defined the edges in the graph, you will be see the connection between the nodes, okay, which are establishing the required edges. Can you see that? Okay, yes, sir, done. Thank you, Darsh. Thank you, Atharva. So what we'll do, we will move towards the next portion, defining the reward system for the board. Okay, so first of all, we will define the matrix size, and we will define, for example, for pointing edges, okay, print point. Now, if point 1 equals to goal, okay, so in that case, what will happen? M point will be 100. Otherwise, M point will be 0. And we will also define the reverse of point. So one is the reward, and the reverse of point what will happen, that it will be penalized. So in case of the penalize, what we are doing, we are initializing point 0 as goal, and then what we are doing, we are defining the condition accordingly. If point such that -1 equals to assigned to 100, or else M point -1 is assigned to 0. Okay, so this is the reverse of the point. Okay, and now what we are doing is simply printing M. So adding the goal print round trip. So what is happening here, we are basically drawing the reward system for the board, that if it is successfully achieving the goal, it will be rewarded. If it is not being able to successfully achieve the goal, it will be penalized. Okay, so what I am doing, I am just posting this chunk of the code in your comment box section. Just try to incorporate it. Once you are done, just let me know. You will be able to see this following type of matrix. Okay, 0, -1, -1, and at the end of this last two row, there will be 100, 100. So this is the reward system for the board. If it is achieving successfully, it will be rewarded. It will gain 100, otherwise it will be 0. So let me know once you are done. So this is the step 3 of defining the reward system for the board or the agent. Just let me know by commenting in the comment box section if you are done with it. Then we will move towards the next step. Okay, output. You want to see the output. This type of output will come up. Okay, done, sir. Done, sir. Thank you. So all of you are done with the step 3. Now we are moving to step 4. So defining some utility functions to be used in training. Now you will go going for the training, and we are defining some utility functions. So first of all, we will define Q. Okay, because it is the part of the Q learning. So first of all, the Q will be defined. Then what we will do, we will initialize the state as 1. Gamma parameter, which is the learning parameter, is assigned to 0.75. Then what we are doing, we are defining the available actions. Okay, so under the available actions, what we are doing, we are defining the available action function with the state argument. So current state row and available action is defined here. Now, after doing that, what we are doing, we are basically choosing one of the available action at random. So what we are doing, we are defining another function with the sample next action. So where we are taking the argument of the available action range. Okay. So then what we are doing, what we are again defining, we are updating it. Okay. So whenever we are defining the update function, so here we are taking three arguments: current state, action, and gamma. Gamma is the learning parameter you already know. And where we have defined the several conditions there. And finally, what we are doing, we are updating the matrix according to the path chosen. So update initial state, action, and gamma. Okay, so this is the update path. So this is the way you can define the utility function. So what I am doing, I am sending this particular section to all of you. Once you are done, then we will move to the next part. Okay, so due to the limitations of the word count, it has gone to up to next section. Okay, so I'm just stopping the screen share. I'm sending you the next portion of the code to you. Just a second. So you see in the comment box, it has been posted up to available, right? You can't see the full code while defining the next section up to available underscore. So what I am doing, I am sending the rest of the next available underscore. I'm sending you the next portion of the code in your comment box section. Just a second. Just check that it has went up to else condition. It has went up to else condition, and rest of the portion from return I am sharing here. So this particular section, the code has went into three section. Okay. Now what I am doing, I am just sharing the screen. Make sure that you are balancing or putting the spaces properly. You are rearranging the code and putting the spaces properly. Okay, so this is the setup for the code. Okay, make sure that you are putting the spaces, because you see in Python, any Python or Pythonic platform, what happens that indentation error is a very common error. So in other type of coding platform, what happens that whenever you're doing coding, you are putting some spaces to make or to look the code much more elegant. But in Python or any Pythonic platform, what happens that unnecessary spaces can create error. Although in Colab there is a benefit that in sometimes whenever you are writing code, it itself gives you the already it itself gives you where to start. Okay, with the pre-placed cursor. So for example, after defining the function in the next line, whenever you go, you have to put a space. Okay, then whenever you are going to write if, After the if, whenever you will put some conditions, there will be a space. If you see the aligned line, if and else will be in the same line, okay, with the same column. If you look at the column, if the starting of the I and starting of E of the if else statement will be in the same column line, but in the between the sentence, whatever the sentence definition is there, there should be a space. So indentation error should not occur. You have to be very, very careful enough. So that's the reason I have shared the screen, that because due to the length of the code and what limitations in the comment box section, I can't be able to send the full code there. So the code has been sent in a 3 parts. Okay. So make sure that you have aligned it properly and you have run the code. So once you are done with it, just let me know. Okay. Make sure that you have aligned it properly. In the comment box section, make sure that you look after the 3 segments are there. Okay. The codes has been sent in 3 segments. Earlier case, what happened that in the first segment, it is sent up to this available. Okay. And it is up to their available underscore, I guess. And from action, it has been sent up to else in the second part. Okay. From action to else has been sent in the second part, and return to update statement has been sent in the third part. Okay. So make sure that you are aligning it properly. By looking at the screen, please align the codes properly and then run it. And let me know once you are done. Have you been able to do it? Please let me know in case you are facing any difficulty. Can you reproduce it? Anybody? Please write in the comment box section, or you can unmute yourself and say. It will help me to understand, because doing things remotely, it is required to help from you guys, cooperation from you guys, because otherwise I will not be able to know that whether you are being able to do it or not. Can you do it? Okay, so due to shortage of time, what I am doing for your understanding purpose, I am simply showing you the next. I'm moving towards the next part. Okay, so this is also a very big portion of the code. So what I am doing right from the beginning, I am just reproducing each of the part in the fresh notebook. Okay, such that you guys can practice it at your home. And already the GitHub link has been given to you. You can download the code from there. Okay, so this is the first part. Downloading all the necessary modules and all those stuffs will be there. So in the first part, we will do it. Okay. And now in the second part, what we will do, we will simply define and visualize the graph. Okay, so this is the second part, where we'll define the edges, where we'll set up the goal. Okay, and we'll define the network and we'll execute it. So this will be the second part. So what we'll do, I will just click on the plus code button and I will put it there. Okay, and we shall execute this part. Some of your friends have successfully done it. So you can see this type of the graph will be generated. So 0 to 9 vertices are there. So how the nodes are connected has been defined in the code, has been placed here, and the goal is to reach the node 10. Okay. So this is how we have done it. And now what will happen, that in the next code section, okay, done sir, already he has mentioned, one of your students has mentioned. Thank you, Darsh, for and letting me know. So in the next part, what we will do, we will define the reward system for the board. Okay. So what we will do, we will simply put the part here. We are defining the reward system for the board. So you can define it and you can reproduce the result. Okay. So this is done. This is the way we have defined the reward system for the board. And the next part, what we will do is the defining the some utility function for the training purpose. So defining the utility function, you see, you have to define the learning parameter, initial state, and other required functions there. So what you will do, you will put it here, plus code section, okay, and we will run the code here. So you will be able to see the utility function, okay. And the next case, what will happen, because those who have already incorporated with me, like Dars and other students, thank you very much. Atharva and Dars has very dedicatedly have done it. But because of this shortage of the time, I am not posting the code in the comment box section, okay? Because this is a very big chunk of code is there, and with one attempt, I will not be able to send the whole code. So I have to do it in the several attempts. So it will kill the time. So what I am doing, I am just giving you some demonstration that all the code, if you execute, it will be easily run through. Okay. So next step, what we will do, we will do the training and evaluating the bot using Q matrix. So I am just simply putting it in my Colab. Okay. So all the codes are executable. You please download the code from GitHub and make sure that you are executing it. So this portion is done. Okay, you can see that the most efficient path is shown to you. 0, 1, 3, 9, 10. The most efficient path is shown to you. This is how you have gained the reward with the number of the iterations. Okay, so this is my already utilized Colab. Okay, and I am again reproducing those results in a fresh notebook. Okay, so if you see with the number of the iterations, you see the reward gain is mentioned there, and the most efficient path is shown there, 0, 1, 3, 9, 10. Okay, now what we will do, we will go for a very realistic thing. So what happens that if we imagine a scenario that when a board is a detective, okay, and we are trying to find out the location of the large drug racket. Okay, so what will happen that the drug sellers will not sell their products in a location which is quite frequently visited by the police. So what will happen that selling locations are near to the location of the drug racket. So this is the conclusion the detective has made. So what will happen that so the sellers leave a trace of their product where they sell it, and which can help the detective to trace out the location. Because what happens that in there is a very famous dialogue now that whenever some criminal does crime, he or she will leave some clue there. That means some stress there. Now police or detective, what will happen that they will basically execute or follow those traces and try to find out the location. So this is what we are doing. In earlier case, we have seen that for a particular agent, how he or sees that particular agent is achieving the goal. Now what we are doing, we are replacing the agent with the name of the police, and there are some drug traces are there by the drug racket. It is trying to find out the location with the help of the police to trace the drug racket. So this is the thing what we will execute here. So this is a very interesting thing, right? So I am posting this portion in the comment box section. So Akshat, okay, that's you can implement it. Okay. So you see, now we have defined the locations of police and drug traces here, and you see the code is executable, and you can see this type of the network graph we can achieve. Okay, as per the defined in the code. Okay, and please send the GitHub link again. Just a second. You download it from the GitHub. Okay, I am sending the GitHub link again. So this is the GitHub link. I am posting it again here. Download the code from here. Okay, and implement it, reproduce it. Most welcome. Now what we'll do, we will just simply do the execution of the next part. So just a second, in the comment box section, I think full code has not gone there. So I have to do it again. Sorry, just screen share has stopped. Just a second. Let me reshare the screen. And in the next part, what we will do, we will just simply define some utility function for the training process. Okay, in a similar fashion. So once we have defined the network portion in the same part, what we'll do, we will just define some utility functions there. So I'm clicking on the plus code section, and we are doing what we are doing. We are basically defining some utility functions. So it is done. You see, it has been executed successfully, like here also. Now what we'll do, we will visualize the environmental matrices. So in this section, we will visualize the environmental matrix. So this type of the output will come, what police has found, and what are the drug traces, where are the drug traces has been found. So this type of matrix we will gain from this particular chunk of code once you run it. Okay, so you see this type of output can be generated here also. What police have found and where the drug traces has been found. Okay, and what we'll do in the next section, training and evaluating the model. Here what we'll do, we will simply train and evaluate the model. So here you can simply post the code, and you will see this type of the graph will be generated. So with the number of the iterations, rewards are gained, like the graph we have drawn here. Okay, so this is a very basic example, and there are many more examples you can draw for the self-driving cars or the autonomous driving. Okay, because which involves the theory of the game concept of the game theory as well. So this is how you can implement. So here in this particular chunk of code, what we have done, first we have seen a very basic example that how agent is attempting to achieve the goal, and then in a very interesting example we have demonstrated that if some drug dealers are putting some drugs for traces of their dealings of drugs, how with those traces police or detective can trace the location of their activities. Okay, so this is how you can do. Okay, this particular code is given there in the GitHub. So this GitHub I have made for the students' utility purpose as per their request. So I am gradually updating several interesting projects. So in the reinforcement learning repository, you will be able to see and download this particular chunk of code. Okay, and what you do, you just download it, you upload it, the notebook in your Colab, you try out by yourself. Okay, and remember that there is one theory is required for you to understand everything. Is another important theory, that is the Q learning theory. Okay, so I will definitely post the Q learning theory there, but in case you face difficulty in some understanding cases, you can definitely interact with me. You can call me, or you can email me as well. So what I'm doing, I'm stopping the screen sharing, and I am sharing my email ID here. Okay, you can, such that you can interact with me later on as well. Because of the shortage of the time, I am not being able to discuss the Q learning as well. But it is always desirable to learn Q learning. If I get opportunity next time to speak in this platform, I will definitely discuss about the Q learning as well, which will help you to understand much more in a robust manner of the basics of the reinforcement learning. Okay, so this is my mail ID, my number. This number is available in the WhatsApp also. You can connect me there as well. Okay, so this is my number. Okay, so you can join me in WhatsApp as well, and you can call me anytime. If I am free, I will definitely get back to you. And already I have shared my GitHub link. I am resharing my YouTube channel link as well, where you can find out several interesting videos, hands-on sessions related to deep learning. Okay, so this is my YouTube channel, and the article which we have discussed today, okay, regarding my Medium article, I am sharing the link of Medium article as well. So this is the link of my Medium article. Okay, so I am gradually updating it, and I have started writing Medium articles for the student purpose. So you can see there are a couple of articles are there already for guiding their students in their career direction for AI and data science, because I have seen that students are gradually attending my talks. Okay, they are incorporating whatever the notebook I am sharing, but it is better to make a separate repository for them, whether it is in GitHub or in Medium, such that whenever they require, apart from the YouTube videos, they can also go through those articles, gain some insights, and share their own views with me as well. And also they can utilize the GitHub repositories as well. So the GitHub repository is only for the students. I'm gradually updating the codes there. Okay, you guys go there, download the codes, practice yourself, and definitely change the parameters, see what are the effects are happening on the outcomes. Okay, any difficulty in understanding any code, feel free to interact me later. Okay, because we are already running out of time, it's 1:12. Okay, so I think I should wrap it up. I believe you guys got some insight. Okay, so it is the session, it happened on HIST because a lot of things to cover, but we have learned about what is reinforcement learning, what are the applicability areas, how you can shape your career, what are the required skill setups, what are the current companies, and what are the job roles, what are the offered salaries, and we have incorporated one part of the code of the reinforcement learning. Very, very interesting project has been incorporated, that how an agent can successfully achieve a required goal. And with that particular example, we have also incorporated that for a drug dealer who are selling drugs, they are living some stresses, how a police or detective can trace the location of that drug dealer. Okay, so very, very two important examples we have executed, and the codes are there in GitHub. Please download it. And I have also shared the Medium article link, which I have written for you guys. Please go through it. For any difficulty, anytime, contact me, because time span are very less. So it may happen that I may not be able to satisfy all your queries, but please share your precious feedback. And thanks for participating actively in this particular session. Because remember that doing things remotely is not very easy. But once we can do it, that means it is the benefit and cooperation of the students. So you guys are the winner who actually helped me to execute this session remotely. So thank you very much to all of you. I know all of you are very smart students, and definitely all of you will excel. Bright future in the bright. All of you will have the bright future. Okay, all of you will excel in your career. So thank you very much. Thanks for the invitation. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, sir, for attending, for taking time out and chairing this webinar. I also thank all the participants for attending the event. The link of the form has been posted in the chat box. I request all the participants to fill the form, and we hope to see you in future events. Thank you. Have a great day ahead. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Most welcome. Thank you.